Hey guys, Scott back again with a new beer dissection video. What I have today is a classic from Lagunitas, their traditional regular IPA. I'm sure you've seen this around a lot. I actually got this as part of a compilation 12 pack they put out recently with a lot of their IPAs. They have a hazy IPA. I may or may not have it pop over my shoulder like I usually do, since this one's so common. They have a hazy, a tropical IPA, the classic IPA, and Little Something Something, which I've done a standalone video on that under my What Is Style part of the YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that, take a look at it. The compilation, I really haven't been that happy about. I don't know, depending on when you're watching this video. The tropical IPA and the hazy, they weren't that impressive. But I won't go, too much into that unless you're interested. You can look up those videos depending on when I get these published. So this one, just taking a look at the label, sometimes I kind of read some distinguishing things off the label. This is at 6.2% alcohol. Okay, again, I'm probably gonna have this over my shoulder. They call it a highly balanced super drinkability or super drinkable. Just a pack of stray dogs who found headspace together. It's good to have friends. So, you do see the little dog on the cover. I haven't noticed. They probably have the dog on, their marketing on all the boxes. But again, why I like to do some of these brands. Now, Lagunitas, I believe it's still craft. I could be mistaken. These guys get bought out constantly. There was even just one that had been bought out by Budweiser, bought it back from Budweiser. So I just like to I like to drink the small guys beer and support them, of course. But I also like to get some of these beers that are either large craft brewers and sometimes even just these big boys. Like I consider Lagunitas one of the bigger brewers, as well as even Sam Adams and things like that. So I like to review those beers too because, obviously these beers have a big footprint. They're all over the country. You can get them in California. You can obviously I can get them here in New York. So that's why I like to review these beers. I'm not just going to be, again, on this channel, I'm not going to be reviewing just solely independent, small guy farm breweries, even though I have a lot of great ones around here. And I've reviewed those beers on my channel. I do like to do the ones that are kind of either craft and small guys or pseudo craft beers, okay? As long as they're producing good beer. But anyway, without further ado, let's get going with this one. Lagunitas IPA, and this is their classic one. I don't know if it's their flagship beer from years ago, but doesn't matter, I guess, as long as it's decent. So let's crack this bad boy open here. Okay. Now they don't tell you. I'm assuming this is going to be. I think I definitely must have had this before. It's been a very long time. I'm not quite sure if this is just going to be a regular American IPA or a West Coast IPA. Definitely, as I started to pour it, I'll show it to you on camera here in a second. It's not looking like a New England IPA. All right, so excuse my heavy pour here, but nice, dense, tight bubbled, white, possibly light tan kind of head there. Okay, the color, okay, nice, medium gold, pretty clear, probably a little chill haze, or that may even just be some condensation on the glass from the beer was pretty cold. But it looks pretty nice. Okay, so you can almost see myself through there, but pretty clear other than maybe some slight chill haze. Remember, they're most likely in this beer, they're not using oats or unmalted wheat, which you see a lot in New England IPAs, which creates a lot of the cloudiness. So before I lose a lot of the aroma, let me take a sniff of this. Ah, it's nice. You get a little, it's like tropical fruit, like mango, pineapple, a little citrus. The malt is kind of a light toast, maybe like cracker, or maybe like kind of like a a little more toasted cracker. Okay, I get a little pine. I don't know what hops they're using. I don't think they advertise it on here. But a lot of times with your West Coast IPAs and your West Coast Pacific Northwest variety of hops, you'll get a little bit of pine. So you get a slight pine, but there's definitely some fruit. Whether you want to argue that there's a little more tropical fruit, like I'll get that pineapple, mango, slightly. Even you can probably even argue that there's even like white grape, but pretty nice. And again, I've been talking for a couple of minutes here, and we're keeping the head. I'm already getting some lacing on the glass, which is nice. All right, guys, so cheers. You start with the malt. You know, you kind of get that light toasty malt, that biscuit, bread crusty type of malt profile. The hops, like the aroma. There's a little bit of that pine in there. Citrus, almost like grapefruit peel. So you kind of get a little bit of that. You know, no alcoholic warmth. The bitterness is moderate to pronounced. I don't know what the IBU unit's on here. I don't even know if they advertised it. I don't see it. Something kind of, you know, from that pith, that sensation of eating like grapefruit pith. On the aftertaste, it's a little dank, which is not necessarily bad. The mouthfeel and the body on this thing is kind of medium bodied. One thing I'm not really happy about is like in this pack that I've been getting, the last couple of beers I've reviewed from them, you know, the aroma and the flavor hops, especially being an IPA, the hops should really be in the foreground versus the malt. It just kind of fleets away very quickly. Like you're just not, even on the aroma, you know, it's pretty pleasant up front with all the descriptors I gave, but then it kind of, you know, you lose it pretty quickly. On the flavor, even that fruit I get, then you're kind of left with a little bit piney, maybe slightly resiny. It's not too bad. I just would like it to be a little bit more robust. Now, I don't know the date. I didn't even read the date off. Okay, it looks like it was kind of mid to late March. I'm filming this now. It's kind of almost, well, it actually is. It's mid-June of 23. So if I would say this is kind of sitting like American Pale Ale to West Coast IPA kind of style, because why I say American Pale Ale is, you know, we're not really getting a lot of bold, you know, highly aromatic hops. You know, the bitterness is kind of sitting there, to my perceived bitterness, more American Pale Ale, like your Sierra Nevada. And it does have that crispness to it, not Christmas. But again, it's very refreshing. I do agree with them. It's very drinkable, crushable, and being a lower alcoholic strength compared to a lot of these other IPAs. You know, I would consider this pretty sessionable. My only knock to it is I just like a little bit, you know, bolder to my taste, at least on hop aroma and flavor. But it is pretty solid. I think it's one of the better ones, other than Little Something Something. You know, in this pack, this one's kind of right there with that one. Definitely better than the hazy that was in there and the tropical IPA that was in the pack. So it's drinking, like I said, more like American Pale Ale with a West Coast IPA, in my opinion, or at least my perception of this beer. But you know, it's pretty good. I mean, it's I'm sure it's been around for a while. They haven't changed the recipe a little bit. You know, I would give it, for overall drinkability, enjoyability, a good solid B. You know, in the world of IPAs, since we're flooded with a million of them, I got to give it a little lower, like B minus, C plus. Don't let the minus or the C's throw you off. If you were served this, or you're in the store and you didn't have a ton of selection, and you wanted something that was highly drinkable, quaffable, refreshing, probably great this summertime, readily available, I would definitely go with this beer. I just said I wish it had a little bit more pronounced aroma and flavor of the hops that lingered a little bit better. It kind of faded away, and it's not really that old. I mean, it's about 3 months old, so I mean we're not doing too bad there. So anyway, guys, hopefully a little info here on today's beer dissection. Lagunitas IPA, one of their classics. Pretty good, average, beer. I wouldn't stick my nose up at it, but there definitely are some better ones out there. But if you want something with like a little more Pacific Northwest hops, piney, slight fruity, maybe a little tropical fruit thrown in there with your citrus, this would be good with you. And it has enough malt backbone to kind of support it, so the perceived bitterness is actually quite low compared to like really assertive bitterness beers. So anyway, guys, Lagunitas IPA. Until next beer dissection, have a great day. Take care.